Welcome to Happy Pupcast. I'm your host, Gabby Sloan, and today we have Wolf River Bernedoodles. Thank you so much for coming today. Really appreciate you joining us.
You're very welcome.
So if you could please let everybody know who you are and what you do.
My name is Bernedoodles, and I am the owner of a Bernedoodle breeding business called Wolf River Bernedoodles. And we're located in Neenah, Wisconsin.
You're very modest and kind of saying that you breed, your Bernedoodles and everything, but definitely you have some of the best Bernedoodles around that I have personally put my own hands on and trained and everything like that. So good for you for having such nice puppies and everything.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I love working with you. So I always learn so much. So it's a win-win, truly.
Well, thank you. For your breeds and things, what breeds? I know you do Bernedoodles, but sometimes we kind of touch other breeds too. What do you breed in total?
We've done a few Bernese Mountain Dog litters. We've done poodles. And I also work with some local Golden Doodle breeders. So we've got a little bit of Golden Doodle mixed into some of our lines too.
Golden Mountain Doodles?
Golden Mountain Doodles are sometimes called Golden Bernedoodles, and all different mixes of Bernedoodles, different generations, different percentages of certain breeds. There's a newer Bernedoodle breed called an Ultra Bernedoodle that
What's that?
just starting to. It's where there's 50% or more Bernese Mountain Dog in the puppy. People are really going nuts over that particular type of puppy because they can be bred down in size, but they have the kind of the doofusy, lazy, loyal, loving personality that people who are familiar with Bernese love.
Isn't that just like a reverse F1B? Essentially.
Yeah. Or you had a couple litters where it's 50% or more. Like if you breed two first generations together and then you'd have 50%.
Well, I definitely see on my side a lot of Bernese personalities that come from your puppies, and it does shine and come through a lot. So what size ranges would you say your puppies kind of generally are at?
We don't do like they're called micro mini very often. The smallest puppies that we would have here would be 20 to 25 pounds. And I just got an email from somebody who has one of our puppies that grew to 120 pounds. We had a 70-pound father and a 90-pound mother, and somehow that particular puppy must have gotten some of the big genes, to grow large. So
he definitely ate his Wheaties, that's for sure.
And he's not overweight either. I mean, they sent me a picture of him and he's beautiful. So
okay, so we got all the way from like 20, 25 or so to part pony.
small horse, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And then for colors and everything, it seems like in general, of course, you do kind of like the tries and things like that, but you seem to be in the area also kind of doing a lot of experimenting with colors, right?
I get bored easily, so I would be so bored if all we did was just the tricolor. But so we've gotten into Merle. We have some beautiful sable Bernedoodles in our program, and Brindle we've done a little bit with. So yeah, it's in brown too, not just black tricolor, but I love brown. I think they're so pretty. So we've done some brown tricolor and red Merle, which is the brown version of Merle. In fact, we have a whole litter right now of brown Merle and brown tricolor. Their siblings from the previous litter had the fun of coming down by you too. We also breed sometimes unfurnished. They look like little miniature Bernese Mountain Dogs with the shorter hair on the face. Yeah, they're really beautiful dogs.
Those mini Bernedoodles or mini Bernies, they have a market for mini Goldens. So I think you got something going there. Tell me a little bit more about start to finish. So you're there with them, they're whelped. What is it, the process until they go home? So what do you guys do with them?
Oh, we spend a lot of time with them doing all kinds of fun things. I've done probably 99% of the whelping, which, especially when you're breeding with so many different colors, it's kind of like Christmas. Like, what is going to come? What's going to come next? Because you don't really know what the puppies are going to look like or what color combinations you're going to get. So that's really fun. The first few days, our main concern is keeping them warm, keeping them eating, and keeping them gaining weight. Around day 3, we start with something called early neurological stimulation, which we continue from day 3 to through day 16. Then as they get bigger, we spend a lot of time handling them. They get experience being socialized with people of different ages and coordinations.
Yes.
And around week 4 is when we give them their first bath, where they get their nails trimmed and they get washed in our big commercial grade sink. We use like a grooming type dryer. They spend time on different surfaces and playing with different kinds of toys. We've got like a slide that they play with and different toys that they have to climb. And this is a kind of a noisy place. We live by an airport, and a
Nice.
train goes through our backyard, and you can hear traffic too from here. So just about any mode of transportation noise they get used to, as well as barking.
Well, I think it's really great that you guys, Doodles, they're one of the highest maintenance puppies out there in terms of grooming. I think that's probably the one thing most potential owners kind of forget or miss or don't realize, especially when you have the bigger the puppy, the more it's going to cost to groom them.
Yep.
And some coats are easier to maintain and other coats are much harder.
Correct.
And it's hard to say which is which until their adult coat grows in. But so it's really nice to hear that you start that so early, because it's an essential part of being a doodle is getting groomed.
Correct. Tell people you have to brush, you have to brush their coats on a regular basis. You have to clean their ears out. Make sure
Yeah.
make sure that you keep their back end short, because otherwise you're going to get a really messy surprise someday that's not going to be very pleasant. So
You said they go outside and they run around. What does that look like? When does that start?
well, it depends on the weather, because
Okay,
we live
yes.
in the great ever-changing weather of Wisconsin. Last week we were in a deep freeze, and this week it feels like spring
Yes,
outside. So
it
everything's
does.
melting, and it's really hard to keep up with it all. So if it's like bitter cold, being outside for, just for a very short amount of time. But as they get older, they love to be outside. There's honestly nothing that loves to be outside more in the winter than a Bernese mountain dog.
Very true.
We had Bernese mountain dogs as pets, and it's not unusual for them to go outside and get buried in the snow, because it's their heaven, really.
Yes.
So there has to be snow in heaven for them.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed that as well here, that even in the bitterness of the cold, sometimes they're like, sure, no problem. I'm 10 weeks old and I'll go out in the cold. And they're like, what? Okay. While the other golden doodle puppy is like shivering, going, take me back in.
Right. But the other part of that is they would have a tendency to want to not be outside as much in the summer when it's really hot out. It actually can get quite dangerous if they're left outside for too long in the summer when it's really hot.
So if somebody was like ready to move forward with a puppy, or, get a little bit more information from you, what's the best way to contact you or to start that process?
Well, we have a website, and it's www.wolfriverbernedoodles.com. There's an application on the website. I ask people to fill that out first. We'll set up a time to have a phone call where I can learn more about the people and they can learn more about our breeding program. And then, based on how that conversation goes, that's kind of where we take things from there, and they can either get on our waiting list or buy a puppy that's currently available if we have one. So we have people
There
actually
you go.
visit. I think there's a spiritual thing that happens when people come to look at puppies, and there's a connection that's created. I don't think that can happen unless people come and pick their puppy out in person. We'll tell people everything we can think of, but ultimately they're the ones who decide who gets to go home with them. So it's one of my favorite days, actually, when people come and visit. I love that. So, well, I just feel like I'm really having an impact in somebody's life, and that's why I do this.
I hear you there. That's why we do what we do, and we're obsessed for these little guys, and it's all we think about 24/7, and that's what's on our brain, right? Is there anything else that you really would like to touch upon that we haven't yet?
I think the Bernese bring something very special into the doodle breed. I just lost two of my Bernese that I had for a number of years this past year, and they're just really special dogs. But I think part of why I'm doing what I'm doing is because their lifespan is so short. By mixing poodles in with completely different genetics, and really, the hope is that we're giving people a pet that will live a lot longer than 6 to 8 years. I think that's important. I also, what I think makes us kind of special in the Bernedoodle world is that's all we do. And I've had poodles my whole entire life. Well, you have a poodle too, so you know what I'm
Oh
talking.
yeah, definitely having both breeds on their own and living with them as they grow and mature. And I think it gives you a little bit of insight to what's normal, what the personality, truly the essence of it comes
Yep.
alive when you live with them and you know what they're like. For example, I have 5 dogs. I have like a little zoo of my own, a golden doodle. So I know exactly how like an F1 at least
Hmm.
golden doodle is. And I have a 10-pound mini poodle, and I
Hmm.
know exactly how a miniature poodle acts. They're
Right.
very different, but and it gives you
Yep.
insight to their specific personalities and their strengths and some of the things that they could work to be better on. And that's super awesome.
Yeah. You're gonna see a little doofus here.
Let's see. Oh, oh, is he a Bernedoodle or is he a
No,
Bernie?
this is a Bernese mountain dog. Yeah, he is perfect. One of my breeder friends said he looks like a toaster on little short, stocky legs. Because I mean, this is exactly what you want. Very barrel chested.
And he's got a lot of coat.
Yeah, his coat is gorgeous, and he's from two of our Bernese. So
Aw. And how old is he?
he is about 5 weeks old.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing him. Loved seeing him. He's such a lovely little guy. If you could just let us know your website one more time as we wrap up here.
Sure. www.wolfriverbernedoodles.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for spending time
Yeah.
with us. Hi, Joe. Good to see you there.
No, he just can't stand not being the center
Right? Well, you're
of
the center
attention.
of attention of all those puppies. I've seen it once or twice before. So, but thank you so much for joining us and doing this with us. And
Yeah.
we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, I would love that. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right.